Welcome to Wall Street Confidential. I'm Farnoosh Torabi. Here is Jim Cramer. Hi, Jim. Let's talk about the New York Times on the heels of their report about an 8% drop in revenue. You're calling this stock, there's no way out.
No, there isn't. There's a $500 million newsroom here. It's an ongoing cost. Mm-hmm. And I would think if I were running the paper, having spent a huge amount buying back your stock in the 30s, having just increased the dividend, something has to give. And I would think that you have to cut that newsroom budget dramatically. Now, that changes the whole complexion of the product. Mm-hmm. But we've seen numbers from the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal that have snowballed now. I mean, we were seeing 1 to 2% decline, 1 to 2% increases, then we're seeing 1 to 2% decline. Now we're getting in that territory where what I have found in my life is what you're going to see is a rather remarkable decline. 8% maybe goes to 15% by the end of the year. Now, there's no way you can sustain that and be an ongoing company. The New York Times is a public trust, and as was the Journal, obviously, from the Bancroft family. And what I think must have to happen here is that something has to give. Kodak increased the dividend and then cut the dividend. I don't trust the New York Times dividend is what I'm saying, not with those numbers. And they can't make it up online. I'm looking at all the online numbers from Tribune, from New York Times. They're really incredibly small. They're about equal to the movie advertisements. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a notion of new realism that must be found in these places. When you have 8% declines, you can't therefore think, and remember, the Times is a particular anomaly here. The New York economy, by all admissions, is stronger than it's ever been. Mayor Bloomberg did a remarkable job. Yes. The amount of advertising that should be going on in real estate should be, places don't move by themselves anymore. Yeah. I mean, the reason why the real estate budget had been very small for advertising was there's no need to. Mm-hmm. Now we know that there's inventory, so there's a need to, but it's not going to the New York Times. Classifieds obviously just do much better elsewhere. The notion that financial advertising should be down with the market hitting new highs is also counterintuitive. But again, that's better put on the web. Now, you could say, Jim, you're self-interested in street.com. I don't care what you ever say. But I think that what happens is that these companies will have no buyers. There happens to be a Murdoch buyer for Dow Jones because there's some interest to have its own business station. But I think the Times doesn't have that, and the Times are run by the Sulzbergers. So, I mean, what you're looking at is a kind of a Smith Corona-like decline. It used to be a typewriter company that managed to diversify into other areas. Mm-hmm. And you saw a similar-like decline in typewriters. It's the only one I can think of that has been like this.
So let me get this straight. You're calling the end of the New York Times.
No, I ended the dividend.
Okay.
Oh, no, you can either cut the newsroom or the dividend.
But if the newsroom goes away, the readership is likely to fall off.
Why?
Well, because you know what? You have fewer staff writers. The quality, the illusion is that the quality of news is going to go down.
Well, no, of course it'll go down. But what do? Run the business at a loss? You know, when I came over here to the street.com, we had 300 people, and we had to fire a lot of people in order to preserve the company. I'm just saying that they're faced with a similar situation.
And Tribune, let's talk about that as a rival.
Well, Tribune, I was doing the cash flow analysis on what News Corp expects to get from its TV stations, and it's very positive, the multiple. They're getting 15 times on the earnings. If Tribune can get 15 times on its earnings on its TV properties, now, of course, what it's left with is a newspaper. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that this is what because they're layering on the debt, they have to do something. They should sell the newspaper.
Okay.
But no one will want the newspaper. But they can get, I think, of the I don't know what I'd have to put up for, what the ultimate deal will be, $4 billion. They can get as much as $3 billion back from the TV stations, and that's why it'll win. Then the Cubs, I think, are worth $700 million if they give them.
Stations.
Right, TV stations, Cubs are equal to the price of the deal. Mm-hmm. But then you're stuck with the paper. So, I mean, if you're able to, if you're part of the buyout, you wait till after they sell the TV stations, then you cash out. But ultimately, what I am saying about why I'm opposed to the deal is because other than the TV stations, you have an asset that is depreciating, not appreciating. The Times is a depreciating asset. That's what I'm getting at. They're depreciating assets.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim Cramer, here on Wall Street Confidential. I'm Farnoosh Torabi. Please stay with us.